Let's start off a new week by talking some NFL and getting in some more bets. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your host, Jason Mattis with Winning Bets, as always. Thanks for hanging out with me and starting off your week with me here on the Monday edition here of Winning Bets, where we give out daily free sports picks. I hope you guys had a really good, fantastic weekend. I know in terms of sports, it was a really good weekend with the NFL, obviously, taking the front stage there. Let's start it off talking about those games and go through them in order. The first one up on the weekend was the Rams and the Packers. That was, not a really good game. Everybody knows through the Fox Bet Super 6 app that I picked the Rams. I admitted that I went out on a limb, so I'm not surprised that the Packers won the game. They're certainly a number one seed for a reason, but I am definitely surprised at just how easily they carved up that Rams defense. They made it look incredibly easy. I don't even think they had that first punt until, what was it, like third or fourth quarter, maybe, when they attempted their first punt of the game. So just that was, to me, what's the big surprising part. Not really necessarily who won the game, but just how easy it was to get through that Rams defense. And that was, the best defense in the NFL that we've seen over the course of, 16 games so far, in the regular season. So if the Packers get through that defense, relatively easy, and they're just going to be really hard to stop. I know they'll be going up against, obviously, the Bucs next, but that's not as good of a defense as this Rams. They've got the good corners. They've obviously got a stout defensive line, and Aaron Rodgers had absolutely no problem carving up that defense. So it's just going to be, they're just going to be really, really tough to stop going forward. So obviously the other game on Saturday was the Ravens-Bills. Jumped on YouTube Live with you guys a couple times throughout that game. That was a lot of fun. Obviously that one was certainly low scoring. I don't think anybody was expecting that. The Bills defense did a really, really good, fantastic job really containing, that Ravens offense and really, that Ravens, rushing attack that's really just so potent, number one in the league. But then to give the Ravens defense also a lot of credit. They contained, just like the Bills defense, they contained, that Bills offense. Yeah, it was quiet, really throughout that entire game. Obviously, the defense matched them in points. They each got a touchdown, the offense and the defense. So looked like it was going to be a game there, a little bit there in the third quarter, coming out of halftime. Bills drive down the field, get a touchdown. Looks like the Ravens are going to do the same. Then they get, the Bills obviously get the, 101 yard, pick six return for a touchdown. So, at that point, I didn't feel like it was game over by any stretch. It's still a two-score game. But just the way these offenses were struggling, the way the defenses were having their way throughout that game, it felt like that was just a really good, comfortable lead. So Bills held it off. They got that win. They'll be going to the Kansas City now for the AFC Championship game. Really excited for that game. I was incredibly nervous for that Ravens game. I'm just not nervous for that Chiefs game. That doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and say, that the Bills are going to go in there and, and get an easy win. The Bills played this Chiefs earlier this season. It was really competitive. We'll have plenty of time to talk about it throughout the week, but this Bills team, can hang with this Chiefs team. So I'm excited to, see that AFC Championship game unfold. And then on Sunday's action, obviously we did have the Browns Chiefs. Obviously the talk of that game was, obviously Patrick Mahomes and that concussion. And you hate to see that, man. The guy's just, and the way he stood up and was really, really wobbly, you just hate to see that, a player, obviously because it's a head injury. Everybody at that point, it felt like the Browns were going to come back and win that game. It felt like they were going to get the momentum. They did get the momentum there a little bit. They stormed back, but Henny made just enough plays, mainly with his legs. He had a couple nice passes as well. The one over to Travis Kelce over the middle was really nice. So the guy came in cold. That's a tough thing to do, right? You come into a playoff game. Good thing they did give him that experience in Week 17 just to kind of get used to the NFL speed. So he wasn't, I don't know when the last time he had been in a game before that. It would have, if it wasn't Week 17, that would have been an even tougher spot to come in that playoff game. So that's why you rest your starters if you give them the ability. You never know when, the next man up will need to be called upon. So good job by Andy Reid getting him in there in Week 17. I think that's a different story if he comes in there completely cold off. I don't know how many weeks or months or years it had been since that guy had probably seen the field. So good win by the Chiefs. March on to the AFC Championship game. We look forward to seeing that one there against the Bills. And then the last game of the weekend was the Bucs and the Saints. That was a good game. It all comes down to Drew Brees. I mean, it really just comes down to Drew Brees and the interceptions he threw late in the game, and obviously let the Bucs then take the lead and get in control. I mean, just look how many points that the Bucs had off turnovers. I mean, that's the story right there. They committed too many turnovers, and they were really all on the arm of Drew Brees. Some couple really just bad throws. You really never know sometimes though if it's the receiver maybe or a route here or there, but the quarterback's the one throwing the ball, so he's the one that's going to get the blame. He's the one that's going to get the credit on the touchdowns and the win. So he's got to shoulder the blame when the interceptions go his way, and he obviously will. He's a stand-up guy, so just unfortunate. See Drew Brees leave the field. Everybody saw the images of him leaving. It definitely looked like that was going to be his last game. So to be your last pass is an interception when you've had a Hall of Fame career, that's a little bit unfortunate. He doesn't deserve to go out like that, but credit the Bucs defense. They make plays, so that'll be a good game there against the Bucs Packers. I think everybody will probably be on the Packers if I had to take a guess, just because that Green Bay Packers offense it's pretty impressive. That's going to be tough. So we got plenty of time to talk about that as the week progresses. We'll obviously get in bets for each of those games. We'll do some prop bets, teasers, and what have you there. So plenty of time to continue digesting these conference championships games. But just a good weekend overall of football, good weekend overall of sports, and just look forward to the next coming week. Before we jump on into the week, let's of course recap the tail end of last week. We obviously ended Friday's show with recapping up until Friday, but I want to get you guys get caught up on the weekend. You guys recall, here's the tweet that I sent out. This was the one that I showed you guys also on Friday's episode that was showing that we were just having a rough week. We were down 8.22 units. But let's go ahead now and recap Friday, and then we'll just kind of run through the days. As you can see, so there's Friday. Friday was a good day, went 5-2. Missed the soccer parlay, but then bounced right back and got Rice basketball there also in the afternoon. Zach LaVine got over 26.5 points. That was really nice. Julius Randle didn't get anywhere near 10.5 rebounds. I think he ended up with like 4 rebounds. He just wasn't hitting the glass. Then we got a nice Southern Mississippi. So that was a nice basketball parlay, or basketball single play. Then I did a basketball parlay, did Monmouth and Maurice parlay, got that one to cash. And then in the NHL, we obviously got that Blackhawks booster there that PointsBet was giving out there. So just a good day on Friday. Went 5-2 and plus 2.85 units. So started to limit that damage a little bit there on Friday. If we move on to Saturday, Saturday was another good day, as you guys can see there. Went 5-3 on Saturday. Finally bounced back in soccer. Boy, soccer was rough last week, and I know I said I was going to take soccer off and got called out appropriately, even gave a shout out, so to speak, on getting called out as it was completely justified. But, got back on that horse on Saturday, fell in love with the Dortmund game there against Mainz, over 24.5 shots. That was a cash. There were 25 shots in that game. I mean, I was sitting there watching. Nothing's easy in sports. I mean, you just can't. I mean, yeah, you get comfortable wins, but large in part, your wins are always just going to be sweats. That was no different. The 25th shot came in the 90th minute of that game. So sweated out through it, but as long as sweat's into the cash, we don't mind that. And then got under 2.5 in West Ham versus Burnley. There was only one goal in that game. That bet I've made throughout this season, really, and Burnley's just too damn good defensively. You get under 2.5 at a good odds value. That one's just a really good, just really good value and really good bet. Then we got tripped up there, did a little basketball, did UT Martin. They lost. Our NFL teaser lost. You guys remember that over-under there? The over in the Rams-Packers game hit, but obviously the over in that Bills-Ravens didn't even come close. There was only obviously 20 total points in that game, so did go ahead and miss that over-under teaser. Got a couple props, though, in that game. Got Allen over 3.5 rushing yards in his first attempt. I was jumping up and down, so Josh Allen drops back to pass. All of a sudden, due to pressure, pulls it down and starts to scrambling. I start jumping up and down, and I'm like, go, 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 go. Then, he runs out of bounds, waiting for them to put the yardage up of how it looked like it was 3, maybe it was going to be 4. Got a 4-yard carry on his first attempt, so I cashed that bet by 1/2. My wife's actually what's the big deal? He ran for the ball. He ran the ball 3-4 yards. I was like, oh no, here we may put in a bet of what would be his first rushing attempt. She's like, okay. Now I got you. Now I understand why you're jumping up and down like you just won the Super Bowl. So he cashed that one by half yard. Cole Beasley was the next prop bet. He was nowhere to be found. Could not find him. I mean, jokingly, he was on the field. You could find him, but the ball was not coming his way. Pretty sure he didn't catch one pass all game. And I think he only got 1 or maybe 2 targets just wasn't really involved. The Ravens definitely shut him down. He's a target of that offense. So that's sometimes what you're going to get is the defense want to take away Cole Beasley. That's exactly what they did. Lamar interception, got that one to cash. Boy, was that a good cash. I mean, obviously being a Bills fan, the interception was needed. Like we just talked about there, the Ravens were entering the Bills' opening second half drive touchdown. So just an amazing interception that was. 101 yards. So put the Bills in a nice, good, comfortable position, but then also put some money in our pocket. That one was at plus money. I think that one was at like plus 116 or plus 118 if I recall. So that was certainly a nice, good cash. And the end of the night with Robert Covington, under 9.5 points. I think he ended up with 5 or 6 if I recall. So we had a little bit of breathing room there to spare up under that 9.5 points. So nice, good cash there. And then as you can see, Saturday was another positive day, winning a little bit over half a unit and continued just to bring down, that deficit that we were riding in all week. Sunday was a little bit of a setback. It wasn't the biggest of all setbacks. If I don't do that NBC Sports Premier League parlay that I commit to every single week, that I'm fine with committing to it. But, if we didn't have that, it would have just been minimal mental damage. But instead it was, a little bit around about a quarter of a unit. So, but our day did start off with another soccer win. Tottenham, they got the win. They scored over 1.5 goals. That game had 4 goals in it total. Then I took a 3-legged money line parlay, which I'm kicking myself in the ass for doing that because I was between making that parlay, it was Dortmund, Atalanta, and City in the parlay. 2 of those 3 teams won. Atalanta was a team that didn't win. They should have won. I watched part of the game and then also kind of looking at the stats afterwards. But they didn't win. But the reason I'm kicking myself in the pants is I was between a 3-legged parlay or just taking a prop bet in that Bayern game over their shot total, which is 26.5. Over 26.5 hit relatively easy. It ended up being up in the 30 range. I'm not going to make that mistake, I don't think, next time. Parlays are generally hard. We all know how difficult parlays can be. So I think next time if I'm between a 3-legged plus parlay and it's just single prop bet, I'll go ahead and take the 50-50 chance on the prop bet rather than doing the parlay. If I'm not between anything, I don't mind doing the parlay. I mean, I still like that parlay. Atalanta, just didn't come through. But next time I'll be able to make the right decision there if I'm between a couple. And again, there, NBC Sports Premier League parlay, go ahead and miss that. Liverpool didn't get the win. That's the one that crashed, that parlay. Got a nice college basketball play, though, mid-afternoon on Sunday. Got Tulsa plus 2.5. Tulsa ended up winning that game outright. Didn't even need the 2.5 points. That always feels good. And then ended it with the loser there, and Brandon Ingram over 23.5 points. Had 15 at halftime. Ended the game with 22. That one's just really, really unfortunate that he didn't come through there and get it done. And as you can see, though, Bo, I don't want to sit here and say it was good because I lost money and that's never good. And I take that serious and I don't take any pleasure in losing money. But good in the sense that it was bad. After Thursday, we were down, a little over 8 units and got that back to, just a little bit over 5 units. So pulled back 3 units over the course of the weekend. So in that sense, it was good. But overall, obviously, the week was not good and, need to get better. And we'll look to, get right this week. You guys can see how it's been going in 2021. We've had 2 positive weeks. And then obviously last week wasn't positive. So and it was, it's now brought us down on the whole over the season. We'll bounce back. Not too worried about it. We'll bounce back. Every bettor has its losing days. Every bettor has a losing week. That we got ours out of the way. We can come back out of it. We can bounce right back this week. And that's what I kind of look forward to doing. So I've already given you guys one bet. I already tweeted it out. There's basketball games that start at noon Eastern today. I found a prop bet in the first game that I really liked, so I went ahead and already tweeted it out to you guys. This one's it right here. You just look at the Magic's defensive ranks. I mean, they're shit. They're in the bottom part of the league in like every major defensive category that you would care about. So it was an easy no-brainer. I know the Knicks played yesterday, but in blowing out the Celtics, Julius Randle's minutes got pulled back as he got rest significantly in that fourth quarter. So he should be fresh. He'll be fine. He's a young kid, so I like him going over 22.5 points in this game, and it's at plus money at DraftKings. So, I certainly like that. So we'll go ahead and ride him out in the early game here. I do have a couple more other prop bets for you. The other ones I want to look at here is the Lakers. Instead of, the Magic being a bad defense, well, the Lakers are good defense. They rank 4th in defending the three-point arc, field goal percentage. They rank 5th in their last 3 games. Effective field goal percentage, they're 2nd, and they're 4th in their last 3 games. Field goal percentage overall, they're 5th, and they're 7th in their last 3 games. Defensive efficiency, they're 1st overall. They're 2nd in their last 3 games. And points per game allowed, they're 3rd overall and 2nd in their last 3 games. So just a really, really good Lakers defense. I'm going to go ahead and look at Draymond Green here. He's only got 7+ points in 2 of his 8 games. He's just not. I mean, if you look at his minutes usage, it's down. His field goal attempts are down. He's just not a big part of this offense this season. So I'm going to go ahead and take his under total. You've got a guy that's not scoring. You got a fantastic Lakers defense going on. So Draymond Green under 6.5 points is at plus 108 over at DraftKings. So we got another good plus money bet there at plus 108. Next one I want to look at here is Timberwolves versus Hawks. You got a rebounding advantage for the Hawks. We kind of know that because we actually tried to get this bet in earlier this season with DeAndre Hunter, but the game got postponed due to COVID. So we know that the Hawks have a good rebounding team. They've got an edge over the Timberwolves. So I'm going to go ahead and look at DeAndre Hunter again, take over 5.5 rebounds at minus 122 over at DraftKings. He's had 6+ rebounds in 9 of his 12 games. I mean, that's just phenomenal. Based on the number they give us at 5.5 and how productive he's been in 9 of those 12 games, I just really like that production that he's provided. And you guys remember that last week when we did try and take this bet that got wiped out due to COVID, that bar was set at 6.5. I tried to figure out why it was at 6.5 earlier in the week last week, and now it's down to 5.5 now. And I really can't figure it out. It's cashed in 2 of those 3 games since then. His minutes usage is, the same. It hasn't dropped down. So not sure why they're offering us the 5.5. So I feel like we're getting a good steal here. And it's not a whole lot of juice at minus 122. So I love that one there. DeAndre Hunter over 5.5 rebounds at minus 122 over at DraftKings. Last bet I've got for you here, at least for this video. I may obviously look for some more later, so just, obviously make sure you're following me there on Twitter. I'm going to go ahead. DraftKings has an NBA parlay booster at 33%. I went ahead and used that. I like the Hawks money line. I think the Hawks will take care of the Timberwolves today. I like the Lakers money line. I see them beating the Warriors. And then the Knicks, I think they'll beat the Magic. I mean, just based on how bad that defense is, the Knicks are a good team, but I went ahead and gave myself 11.5 points in that game and still bought it at plus 141. So I like the Hawks money line, Lakers money line. Give yourself Knicks 11.5 points, and you can get that one at plus 141 over at DraftKings. That's all we'll look to start off our week, guys. We'll look to have a phenomenal bounce back week, starting off with these 3 NBA prop bets, and then we got that one parlay there with a couple money lines and the against the spread there, adjusted or alternate against the spread there. So, all right, guys, that's how we'll do it here. Thanks for hanging out with me on today, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. Have a good one. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.